In the vast and unforgiving theater of naval warfare, some vessels transcend their steel and timber to become something more. They become symbols, icons. She was a legend, a ship that, in the dark, early days of 1942, launched one of the most audacious raids in military history. With the nation still reeling from the attack on Pearl Harbor, she carried 16 Army bombers across the Pacific, a feat never before attempted. Her planes struck a defiant blow at the heart of the Japanese Empire, a crucial boost to Allied morale when it was needed most. She was the 7th ship to bear the name, a Yorktown-class carrier commissioned only weeks before America entered the war, the USS Hornet, CV-8. But her service, though glorious, was brutally short, and her end was violent. She fought at the pivotal Battle of Midway, and her career culminated in the Solomon Islands campaign. Sunk in a ferocious battle off the Santa Cruz Islands in October 1942, she absorbed an overwhelming onslaught of bombs and torpedoes, refusing to yield until the very end. Finally, abandoned and ablaze, she vanished beneath the waves of the South Pacific, taking with her over 100 of her crew and the stories of the men who fought and died on her decks. Her final resting place became a mystery, a sacred tomb lost to the crushing depths. For over 76 years, her location remained one of the ocean's great secrets. She has been a ghost, a sunken titan shrouded in the fog of time. A legend carried on the waves and whispered by history. Her story is one of courage forged in steel and spray, a ship destined to be remembered, a war grave deserving of reverence, and at last, after 3/4 of a century in silent darkness, a ship destined to be found. But now, a new generation of explorers has taken up the search. This is the crew of the research vessel Petrel, a team of dedicated marine technicians, historians, and deep ocean surveyors. Their mission, funded by the late philanthropist Paul Allen, is not one of salvage, but of discovery and remembrance. They are armed with the world's most advanced deep-sea technology. The hunt begins with an autonomous underwater vehicle, or AUV. This untethered submersible is programmed to methodically crisscross a designated area using sophisticated side-scan sonar to paint a detailed acoustic picture of the seabed thousands of meters below. With this technology, they have embarked on a mission to find her. The starting point is a vast, uncertain patch of the South Pacific. Old charts and after-action reports have been painstakingly re-examined. The team pored over declassified naval records, plotting the Hornet's last reported coordinates from 1942. But wartime navigation was an imprecise science, leaving a staggering search area. For weeks, the Petrel has been patiently scouring this grid, covering hundreds of square miles of the ocean floor. Each pass of the AUV collects terabytes of data, slowly eliminating empty sectors and refining the search box. In the ship's control room, sonar technicians analyze the data streams for anomalies, any shape or shadow that doesn't match the natural geology of the abyss. It is a meticulous process where history and technology must work as one. The ocean guards her secrets well. The immense pressure and perpetual darkness at these depths have preserved the Hornet, but they also conspire to keep her hidden forever. But the search does not falter. The team works in shifts around the clock, driven by a shared sense of purpose. Every tool, every hour, every mile of surveyed seabed brings them closer to solving a 77-year-old mystery. They know that somewhere beneath them, the sunken ghost waits in silent repose. And then, after nearly a month at sea, a promising return appears on the sonar feed. A shape, long and man-made, distinct from the surrounding terrain, a potential target. And then, after weeks of searching, a contact. 3 miles beneath the surface, a shape emerged from the darkness. A shape that was undeniably an aircraft carrier. The hunt was over. The ghost had been found. In the room, excitement tempered by respect. A moment to record and to honor. Now the descent. into the abyss with care and purpose. And so history awaited their lenses, a careful step into time. Down past sunlit waters and into the eternal night. With the target confirmed, the team began the final, most delicate phase of the operation. They sent their remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, on a 3-mile descent into history. This was a journey into another world, a realm of crushing pressure exceeding 7,500 pounds per square inch, and near freezing temperatures where sunlight has never reached. For hours the vehicle descended, a lone spark of light, tethered to the world above by a slender fiber-optic cable. Its powerful LED arrays, the only things capable of pushing back against the profound and eternal darkness. The crew in the control room watched their monitors, their faces illuminated by the glow, waiting for the seabed to rise up and meet them. Then, after nearly 4 hours of patient descent, the sonar altimeter signaled their arrival. The ROV leveled out just above the abyssal plain. The pilots began a slow, methodical search pattern, sweeping their lights across the barren landscape. And suddenly, something enormous emerged from the gloom. Not rock, but steel, a vast, flat expanse that could only be one thing, a flight deck. The first images it sent back were grainy, ethereal, but their significance was earth-shattering. Shared with the world, they broke the internet. As the ROV pulled back, the full picture came into view, a sight that defied all expectation. She was sitting perfectly upright on the seabed, not broken or capsized, but resting on her keel as if in dry dock. She appeared almost ready to recover her phantom aircraft. In the silent, crushing dark, she was a colossal, perfectly preserved monument to a bygone era of naval warfare. The team began a careful survey, a circumnavigation of this sleeping giant. Her weapons were still at the ready, her 5-inch anti-aircraft guns aimed towards a sky they hadn't seen in over 75 years. A final, defiant posture against the attackers who sent her to this watery grave. Her battle scars were clearly visible, telling the story of her final desperate fight. The ROV's lights traced the wounds etched into her hull. Here, a catastrophic wound where a Japanese torpedo tore into her starboard side, peeling back her steel skin like a tin can. It is steel bent by unimaginable fury, yet its violent story is perfectly preserved by the oxygen-poor water, the intense cold, and the eternal dark. Astonishingly, so many details remained untouched since that final day in 1942. Arrestor wires, meant to catch landing aircraft, were still stretched across the flight deck. Every angle revealed a new memory. Every shadow cast by the island superstructure seemed to hold a story of the men who served and fought here. The ROV was not just exploring a wreck, it was navigating a memory palace. The evidence was overwhelming, but the expedition sought one final, definitive piece of proof. The ROV was carefully maneuvered towards the stern, to the place where a ship's identity is proclaimed. And then, emerging from the marine growth, the proof no one could deny. Her name, still proud in the deep, Hornet. The search was over. It was a time capsule from one of the most pivotal moments of the war in the Pacific. A ship arrested at the instant of her greatest trial, a snapshot of history sealed away from the world. Here, strength and sacrifice are etched into steel and timber. The faded numbers and marks on her deck once guided men and machines to war. Now, they are instruments of remembrance. This was no salvage operation, no intrusion. The mission was clear: only witness, only tribute. The wreck is a designated war grave, the final resting place for the sailors who went down with her. It is a hallowed site, to be observed but never disturbed. Her weapons still watch a sky they will never see again, a silent vigil in the abyss. Nature has begun to claim her, as marine growth and curious fish weave through her structures, life reclaiming steel. But it cannot reclaim her meaning. In the deep, Time moves differently. Decades pass like moments, and yet, for those who served, for the families who waited, and for the historians who study her, memory holds fast. But the Hornet is more than a relic. She's a hallowed war grave. 140 men went down with their ship. The footage was not just an exploration, it was a visit to a sacred site. Every inch of the vessel is a testament to their courage and their final sacrifice. Here memory weighs as heavily as armor. This place demands silence and respect. Artifacts, yes, but also guardians of a story, a tomb and a testament. We bear witness and we leave her in peace. When the first images were released, the world was stunned. The story of the Hornet's discovery became a global event. For the families of the crew, it was a moment of profound closure. For the world, it was a powerful reminder of the human cost of a war fought generations ago, and a renewed commitment to protect such sites, a memory once submerged, now shared worldwide. Above, the sea carries on. Below, remembrance endures. After 77 years resting in the silent deep, the ghost of the USS Hornet has finally been found. Her final mission is now complete, to serve as an eternal, silent memorial to the brave heroes who sailed with her, a hallowed grave. May she and they rest in peace. Please subscribe to our channel, History Documentary Hub, for more insightful videos and intriguing content.